Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another Aston Villa latest transfer news update. News of an outgoing that we've kind of knew about for a little while, but confirmed as of today. A potential other young player that could be on his way out from Villa, which would be a bit of a surprise to all Villa fans and a little bit disappointing too. But also potentially two. I've got news of two big name players that could potentially be coming in, and maybe Monchi is doing his work behind the scenes. Before we get onto that, though, we are well over 2,200 subscribers on the road to 3K. We don't just want to stop at 2,200, so you can help us by hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. Help us on the way to 3K. The support has been absolutely amazing the last few days. The response to the Tom Colomosi episode, which if you haven't checked out, please do. Almost 4,000 of you have viewed that one. So yeah, the support's been tremendous. So help us continue to keep growing by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. So let's get on with the show. Aaron Ramsey is going to be unveiled as a Burnley player very, very soon. The 20-year-old is having a medical, I think, pretty much as we speak, and a deal for 14 million plus add-ons and a buyback clause in there as well will be confirmed later today. A good move for Villa and a good move for all parties. I tweeted last week when it was first announced that this could be on the cards that I think it's a good move for all parties. It gives him potential Premier League experience. He hasn't featured in the Premier League game for Aston Villa at all, or for any club at all. He's featured in the Championship. So it gives him valuable experience. If he does well, we're buying back a ready-made Premier League player. Yes, it might be for more money, but he's been proven in the Premier League and he's scored goals or he's had appearances and played well. And he's obviously helping towards the FFP, which a lot of clubs have to be mindful of these days. So yeah, and we're obviously getting money in now for a young player that is brought from our academy. So this is, as I keep saying, is what the academy is for. Villa, having already produced Jack Grealish in recent years, Carney Chukwuemeka, who's have gone off for 120 million combined, and Jacob Ramsey, who is featuring regularly for the first team, is absolutely phenomenal from their academy. To have a 10% strike rate is brilliant. So the majority of players won't make it to the first team through the academy for any professional club. So for Villa to get to make money off these players is great business. And unfortunately, as Villa fans, we just have to face up to the reality that the 11 players coming through the academy won't happen. So if we can make money on them, then that's absolutely fair enough. That's what it's there for. And if we keep raising the bar and the standards, then the standards of those players will keep increasing. The value of those players will keep increasing, and the quality of those players that end up getting into the first team will be that much higher. So we wish Aaron Ramsey all the best and hope he goes on to have a great career. And you never know, we could sign him back, and he'll be featuring the first team alongside his brother. Now, it was David Ornstein that confirmed it last night, and also as part of his article was that Villa were open to listening to offers for Cameron Archer, another player through the academy. And Archer has been one who's been so popular with Villa fans because he kind of burst onto the scene, had not a great loan spell at Solihull Moors, and then came back to the club. I think he did a lot of work over that pre-season when he'd come back from his loan at Solihull Moors and really surprised the manager at that time, and came through and scored goals against Barrow. He scored that hat-trick against Barrow in the Carabao Cup, scored against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, and really surprised Dean Smith, and then went on for a loan at Preston, did really well there and was really popular with the supporters at Preston. And we thought he'd come in and do well in pre-season, which he did under Steven Gerrard. Made some first-team appearances, but couldn't quite force his way into the team. Obviously, Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings were ahead of him. Had a fantastic time at Middlesbrough towards the back end of last season, again scoring a goal every other game, averaging a goal every other game, should I say. And did really well with England under 21s, and this was the kind of pre-season where we thought, yes, Cameron Archer will really come in as a backup, if not challenging Ollie Watkins. And he hasn't really been given a fantastic chance in pre-season, but it does look like he is potentially, while we would like to keep him, I think we would listen to offers. And if an offer comes in at 20 million plus, then I think we'd be fools not to look at it. And again, if a buyback clause could be put in there, to another, if it's another Premier League club or an upcoming Championship club like a Leeds or a Leicester or someone like that, then I think that would be a good move for him. However, I do think there's a space for him at Villa. I really do, and I think if he was given a chance, particularly in that Europa Conference League, I think he could really score goals. But you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I know a lot of people on Twitter were kind of really disappointed in the fact that we are looking at listening to offers for Cameron Archer, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of clubs that would be interested in him, because finishers like him aren't easy to come by. And I think the decision will be potentially down to Archer himself. Does he want to come? Does he want to stay at Villa and fight for his place and play European games, play cup games, and the odd Premier League appearance, or does he want to go and potentially get regular Championship games or regular games with a lower level Premier League club? But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments, because while I can see the benefits of getting 20-25 million, I think that would be the right thing. With a potential buyback on there, I can see the other side in terms of letting a player of Archer's caliber, in terms of his finishing, go when we haven't really given him a chance. So yeah, you guys let me know in the comments your thoughts. Now, this morning, Fabrizio Romano has actually confirmed that we are in negotiations with Galatasaray, sorry, for Nicolo Zaniolo, a young Italian forward who had a really, really good time with, Fiorentina, and initially with Juventus, but had a really, really bad injury, and then kind of, trying to resurrect his career with, sorry, my bad. Sorry, with Roma, and then trying to resurrect his career with Galatasaray. I was looking at the wrong player there. And he's an Italian international, 13 caps with 2 goals scored. And the initial time at Roma, he did fantastic and broke through, got Serie A Young Player of the Year. He's ended up with 94 appearances, scoring 13 goals, but had some real injury issues and loss of form, and then went to Galatasaray, and he's now had 10 appearances and 5 goals. He's more of a forward player, can play attacking midfield and forward, so might be in that mould of an Emi Buendia, a Philip Coutinho type player who's going to play off, say, an Ollie Watkins. Now, let's have a look at his information on SofaScore. I have covered him a while ago, because we were talking about him a little while ago, but I will go over his information again. So if we have a look here, we've got him compared to Emi Buendia, and also let's have a look at his Super League in Turkey. So we've got 10 games played. He's only started 2 games, but scored 5 goals. So his scoring frequency was really good there. Goal conversion was 23%. He also missed 3 big chances, so could have had an even better return. 5 goals, all with his left foot, so predominantly left-footed there. And passing accuracy 74% in his own half, 90% in the opposition half, 61%. So for me, he would be a little bit of a risk. If we look at his Serie A last season as well, so heat map is pretty much across the pitch, but again, only 13 games played and 12 starts and only 1 goal. So he did really need to go to Galatasaray to kind of get him some confidence back. And if we look at him compared to Emi Buendia, then Buendia does outperform him on pretty much all those metrics. They're quite close on the attacking side, but creativity and technical ability, Emi Buendia really does outscore him. But 24 years old, and maybe Unai Emery sees something in him that he can get out of him, and maybe a chance to kind of resurrect his career and really kick on again moving forward. So we'll have to wait and see on him, but it does look like we really are looking at him and putting negotiations into buy him. I'm not sure what the price is going to look like, but you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it a player that that can take us to that next level, or is he going to be a player who's going to be more kind of developing this season and then bringing through? But it is nice to be sort of linked to these names. But I guess he was one who probably was linked to, maybe higher level teams at one point, and then kind of, after injuries, looking to get himself back on, back to that level. Reminds me a bit of, say, a Morgan Sanson, but hopefully this one will work. And finally, the final player that was talked about on Twitter yesterday, and again has been talked about quite quite openly among Villa fans, is Dusan Vlahovic. Now, this one really does excite me. I think he would be the perfect type of player that we need and that I've been crying out for in a forward role. Now, this is the one he's played at Fiorentina. I had a fantastic time there, scoring 44 goals in 98 games between 2018 and 2022. And then Juventus from 2022, where he scored 17 goals in 42 games. Serbian international, made his Serbia debut for the full national team in 2020 and had 21 caps and scored 13 goals. He's won Serie A best young player as well. And the best thing about him, looking at what Wikipedia says about him, he's basically, Vlahovic is a complete striker, known for his physicality, technique, and eye for goal. He excels at picking up the ball in central areas or the inside right or left channels and maintaining possession. Now that is music to my ears, and I'm sure many Villa fans' ears, in terms of his style of play and what we need. Ollie Watkins is brilliant at that chasing down, getting much better in terms of in the box, but there's still that question mark sometimes over him in terms of holding up the ball and bringing other players into play. And Vlahovic looks like, that slightly higher level of player that can really take us to that next level. Now, looking at him on SofaScore, I was just sharing my screen. His kind of statistics, last season, 27 games played, 22 starts, 10 goals, not a bad return. 9 big chances missed, so does miss chances, which I'm sure all strikers do. 1 headed goal, 8 left-footed goals, 1 right-foot goal, 2 assists, and in terms of passing accuracy, 72%, so not too bad. 81% in his own half, 66% in the opposition half, and aerial duels, 39% won, 44% successful dribbles. Now, I had put Ollie Watkins in to compare him, and Ollie is not doing too badly against him in terms of the comparison. Obviously, tactically and defensively, quite above him. But in terms of attacking creativity, technical ability, they're very, very similar. And Vlahovic obviously, higher in terms of that attacking threat. But I think the height, 6'3", the age, 23 years old, a perfect player for us to really try and go for, and would be an ideal foil for, in my opinion, for an Ollie Watkins. And when we talked about Danny Ings, that kind of striker, was he offering anything any different? Was he covering the ground that we wanted to? I think Vlahovic will be that option. Like I say, 6'3", ability to put crosses into the box, ability to change the way we play a little bit, ability to bring players into the game, and just a different option if you need to change the game, by bringing a different type of player on. But yeah, it would be fantastic if we could get him. Zaniolo, I think, would be an exciting signing, one that we don't really know too much about, but that does look like we are trying to explore that deal. But those two, bringing in the likes of the money that we can get from Ramsey, potential from an Archer as well, potentially does open the door for 1 or 2, potential kind of higher caliber players to come in. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments your thoughts. That's the rest of the transfer news. One last call for this. We are 2,200, well over that, on the road to 3K. So do hit that subscribe button. Do hit that like button. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back later on today with a match preview for the big match on Saturday. And I'll also be on the Loaded Mag show later on today. So do catch me on that from 7:30. But as always, thank you for watching. And remember, we all follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.